We like to think that a crisis like the one we're in brings out the best in people, and there are plenty of examples of that. But unfortunately, there are also those who seek to take advantage. We talked with Massachusetts Attorney General Maura Healey about what she's seeing in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts.
A few things that we're seeing. One, you see people out there on the internet, Instagram, Facebook, they're marketing coronavirus vaccines, treatments. All of these are scams, and so in response, we go after them and quickly try to shut them down. We also see people who are setting up these charities where they pretend to be asking for support to support coronavirus victims, and again, they're scams. And so we're just encouraging the public to really do their homework before you ever give money like that to what you think is a charity. We've seen a lot of lately, a lot of people reaching out via phone call or on the internet, promising small businesses disaster relief and, pretending to help them with their application for that federal money, which people are so desperate for. And so we've been really clear with the public, only go through the public sites to apply for and obtain that relief. But it really runs the gamut. I mean, recently there was a woman named Suzanne, she called herself, who was calling around offering to help people with their student loans for a fee. So we're monitoring this. We're encouraging people to report these scams to our office, and we're taking action as we see it.
So do you have something like a hotline, Attorney General?
We do. In Massachusetts, we have a hotline set up. And we also have a way for people to file directly online or through social media with our office. So we've got those lines fully staffed up. We had to fight off unlawful debt collection, price gouging, that began a few weeks ago, and similarly for these types of scams.
If you discover these, what can you do about them? Your court system's closed down, isn't it? Can you take people into court?
Well, it really ranges. Some of this stuff is coming from overseas, so it's harder to chase. But, sometimes it's just a matter of tracking down who owns the site, calling them, sending cease and desist letters. We've had success doing that. We also make sure that we warn the public immediately so that they're on the lookout for these kinds of unlawful solicitations.
Look forward to a more hopeful time, for example, when we get a treatment or we get a vaccine. How will we make sure that people can afford it? Because, unfortunately, the wealthy have the first access to these things, and yet a lot of the people, as I said, who have been most badly affected have not been the wealthy at all in most communities.
No, it's so true. And not only are they having trouble accessing health care. Our whole health care system is so strained right now, and you see the holes and the failings there. But, remember, a lot of these folks are frontline workers, but a lot of these folks, too, have been laid off. They've lost their jobs. And so we're going to need a whole safety net and a whole lot of funding to support them and to help them through this time. And so, this isn't a weeks or months long endeavor. This really is going to take us, I think, years to recover from, to rebuild from. But, my hope is that we rebuild in ways that are more equitable, that deal with some of the underlying disparities that, result today in Black and Latino populations disproportionately being affected, sickened, and killed by the coronavirus. So we've got a lot of work to do. But with this devastation comes a lot of opportunity to rebuild in a more positive direction, I think.
Turn to a different issue, because up in Massachusetts, again, your governor, Charlie Baker, announced this tracking and tracing pattern with Partners in Health, really to try to isolate and identify the people who have the virus and might spread the virus. Does that raise issues for you in terms of privacy? Because we now see Amazon and Google, for example, are saying they're going to have an app up that will tell us who we've been in contact with. Do we have to consider that balance, or is this a bad enough crisis we say, look, we need to worry about saving people's lives. We'll get to the privacy later on?
Well, I think it is a matter of public health right now. That is the priority. That said, there is a way to do it to account for people's privacy. I think you need strong, this has to be government-led so that the right protections are made in place. But certainly whatever we can harness from the private sector, we should be looking to harness. And the fact of the matter is we're not going to see the economy open, as many people are clamoring for, until and unless we have measures in place to do that contact tracing, to test to see who has the antibody, and may be able to return to work to see who's had the virus, right? and who's come out of it. And ultimately, we do need to get to a vaccine. So I think people need to be patient. It's a terrible situation, I know, for everybody. But the fact of the matter is, until and unless we have these measures in place, we're not going to be able to open things back up. And we've got to get that right, and we've got to put public health